Welcome everybody to another Green Base. And last we left off, I thought it was the end. I thought it was the end right there, but I was checking the Steam achievements pop off. Okay, nothing was popping up. I was like, what? No achievement or anything? That's weird. And I checked the achievements. No, we're not. It's not over. It's not over, ladies and gents. There's like a couple more, I think. Let's get back to the game. I was worried no one was going to come. Okay, let me just place the cursor over here. Alright. Hello? H. H. Hello? Hello? I was worried no one was going to come. Wait a minute, what's happening? It's one of those alternates. Gonna be one of those ARGs, huh? Oh. Jesus love. Aren't you forgetting something? Chapter 5, The Falcon's Landing in the Turning Wheel. We are not... It's not done. Told you. Looking back on it now, it seems that the brilliant sun that rose in that morning was in truth the lowering of the curtain on my blundering and unsightly adventure. The days that followed were actually very eventful, but I myself played almost no part in them, even now they're starting to blur together in my memory. Brandy, the central character of the drama, fell gravely ill after our fateful encounter. She is said to be lingering on the border between life and death. As a result of this, Browning remains imprisoned in Yon High Tower, only now a prisoner of her own noblesse oblige. I'm a man of my word, and I won't return home without her, which is why I'm still here in the capital, well fed, lying on a comfortable bed, and lost in these thoughts at the palace's expense. I'm telling you, Otto, I must be cursed. Ooh la la. Curse? Ever since I got this scar, I've met with nothing but misfortune. Do you know what the other adventurers are calling me now? Go on. Switch just scantily clad. Well, I mean, don't laugh. But you're not exactly unscathed anymore, so... You think I can't hear the pride in your voice when you say that? Now, I'm sure they intended it as a term of endearment. You've been working hard to set the guild here straight after it all went pear-shaped. That's right. After that incident in the palace, rumors about what had transpired there escaped faster than we did, seeping through the cracks in the walls and spreading through the city. The corrupt guild quickly fell into a panic and began discreetly and violently eating its own tail. Thankfully, there were more among them loyal to the organization's principles than we had anticipated, and Switch was not without allies in this foreign land. If I'm so endearing, why do people keep trying to kill me? Which is not to say she hasn't made any enemies, however. In the past couple of weeks, there have been at least 3 attempts on her life that we know of. It's starting to become disturbingly routine. I haven't had cause to use the scabbard's power again yet, but I wonder if the knowledge that I could if it came down to it isn't somehow distorting any sense of reason. At the moment, that ancient and sorcerer's regalia blade has been wrapped in a sackcloth and propped up in the corner of our inn room, looking like any other piece of adventurer's equipment. I didn't think it was wise to leave it in the care of the palace. Anyone who knew what they were looking for would be looking for it there. Yes, it's far better to hide it in plain sight, where I can keep an eye on it. Hey, are you listening to me? Ugh. My musings are interrupted by a suit of armor crashing down on my chest. I'm begging you, take that stuff off before you get on top of me. You've gotten a lot bolder, Otto. I mean... You can put something else on first. That seems like a waste of time. You're just going to get me out of it anyway. Whoa. There's a series of central unclasping noises and a series of not so central clanging and clattering noises as Switch escapes from the confines of her armor and discards it on the floor. Whoa. Every night since that day, I've had the same nightmare. The reassuring warmth and weight of Switch's body next to mine disappears, and my arms are suddenly holding nothing. In the same way, the treasures you clutch to your chest at the end of an avaricious dream turn out to be nothing but your old straw-stuffed pillow upon awakening. Only Switch is there in my waking life. The joy she brings me is the real thing, and this is the dream. Surely. Oh god, another horrifying thing. That dream again. How many times has it been now? I've lost count. I've lost count of how many times I've awakened from that fabula and found myself back here at the bottom of this ravine under that hateful moon. The first few times I was confused. I would look down to check if my leg, which has long since grown numb, was still broken. It's difficult to accept that the mere minutes or even seconds are all that pass here for the entire days I spend there. But then these visions must be the final desperate doings of my perishing mind. Oh god. Sooner or later, I'm going to drift off into that fantasy world and never return. It is inevitable. Even now, as I tongue this. Sorry. I'm a little bit off. I'm a little bit tired. Excuses, I know. Come on, let's get it. We're gonna pull through, everybody. Even now, as I tongue this bitter pill, as if to stimulate my senses with its foul taste, do I feel my thoughts growing dull and hazy. Oh my goodness, man. Don't. It's no wonder you're having dreams like that, friend. Huh? I look up from the beer I had been contemplating and into Faber's flushed, bleary face. It takes me a moment to remember what I'm doing here. It's strange, I haven't been drinking all that much. You only have yourself to blame for taking that wild Brumby to bed with you. You mean Switch? Who else? Although, my friend, I'm gonna be very upset with you if you've been courting more than one lass while I've been nursing my poor broken heart. There's nothing like that going on, it's just Switch, but I don't understand what you're getting at. Do you think she's gonna stick around here forever, just to be with you? I doubt it. I know her type, free-spirited, she must be itching to be off to her next adventure. Just because you can't hold on to a woman, I'm not trying to pick on you here, Otto. I'm just saying, she leave, they always leave. Arabi didn't leave you, she was never with you in the first place. Even after I went to the trouble of rescuing her from that scoundrel. And she wasn't being held captive either. You're just going to believe what you choose to believe, aren't you? You don't need to entertain this inebriate's rambling, Otto. Yeah. Damn it! Why did she have to let them all go? Why couldn't she have let me rescue just one of them? Why can't I be the knight in shining armor? Faber empties his stein or stain with a, or I guess a stein, with a deep drought. With a deep draught and slams it down on the counter, making the other occupants of the table, Echo included, jump a little into the air. Barkeep, another drink for me and my doomed friend here, and bring something sweet for this acid-tongued little devil as well. Yay, keep him coming! I get up from my seat and set an old bronze coin still bearing the vain-glorious profile of King Darius down on the table. No more for us, thanks. Come on, Echo. Aw, suit yourself. I'll have both of those beers, barkeep. Don't you think you've had enough to drink? It's not even noon. Hello, my boy, you're still very young. Granted, and you have yet to realize the truth. So we kinda have a place we need to. That is, that the summation of life's experience is nothing more than a cycle of false hopes and crushing disappointments. You just keep going around and around this vortex until you eventually drown. Yes, all men are doomed to someday drown. And I feel that, rather than drowning in misery, it's better to drown in booze. Faber gives a vulgar laugh and then stares off at some faraway place. The well-endowed barmaid brings him another two steins? Steens? I guess steens. 2 steins of frothing beer? Is it Stein? It's either Stein or Steen. Bearstein. After exiting the tavern, Echo and I resume our original, somewhat delayed objective. We leave the city through the north gate and make our way along the coastal road leading to the sanatorium where Brother and the other occupants of the pit have been cared for after it was emptied on Brownwind's order. Hallelujah. As I walk, I pick up tiny stones and cast them about, and Echo zips around to catch them, matching their speed and trajectory to snatch them out of the air as gracefully as a swallow. And she does it again. What a catch. Is something weighing on your thoughts? You can always spill your guts to me. I promise I won't laugh. Do you think I'd make a good adventurer? You said you weren't going to laugh. I know, I'm not. Are you that bothered by what Faber was saying about Switch? He was drunk. He was being honest. It's a fact that the pretexts keeping her here in Byron are disappearing. Pretext, huh? I might be deluding myself by thinking of them as pretext. My girl's heart is inscrutable. You're just being conceited and green. You're so green, you're making me queasy. And since you asked for my opinion, you'd make a lousy adventurer as well. You're the kind of guy who puts down roots, Otto, and they'll become deep roots if we allow them to. It is by no means a bad thing. But it's not what I wanted to hear. What am I supposed to do? Cover my branches with birdlime and wait for it to come into roost? I suggested nothing of the sort. The workings of your mind are truly disturbing, young man. Just think about what I said. I do not grant counsel to mortals lightly. Alright. Thank you, Echo. We eventually arrive at the grounds of the sanatorium, a large whitewashed building that looks like a hastily converted temple. Before we can go in, however, a nun rounds the corner of the building with a basket full of clean sheets and informs us that brother is no longer bedridden and is in fact taking a swim down at the inlet. He was looking pretty chipper the last time I saw him, but I wasn't expecting him to be up and swimming of all things already. We make the short trip down a sloping meadow that levels off before suddenly truncating at the rocky shoreline. I scan about, but I can't see any sign of brother, only a cairn or cairn or siren. No, it's a cairn. Only a cairn of dark rocks that seems foreboding. I butchered that word, I'm not joking. And incongruous with the summery seascape. Brother, where are you? Echo flies up to survey the area, but returns shortly afterwards, shaking her head. Damn it, what were they thinking? Letting me go for a swim after spending a year rotting away in a cave? I'm about to jump in myself when something breaks the surface of the water. It's a man holding a big rock over his head. He clambers awkwardly ashore under the weight of his burden and then slams it down on the grass, his own body following shortly after. He rolls into his bag, gasping for air. Brother, what on earth are you doing? Brother looks up at the sound of my hail and waves at us before grabbing his ragged old robe and pulling it on over his head. Hello there, Otto. I haven't seen you for about a week, I think. I'm sorry, I've been a little... Seriously, why are you pulling rocks out of the sea? Rehabilitation, I suppose. I wanted to help take care of the others, but the sisters chucked me chucked me out for being too clumsy. You always were hopeless at that sort of thing. You've grown a lot taller. One would hope so, after 10 years. I'm still a bit shorter than you, though. How frustrating. At least I can take some solace in my muscular physique. I didn't fail to notice. Why do you think I'm hauling these rocks around? Eh? Is that why? Brother bends down and picks up his hoe. He slots it carefully into the... Give me like 10 seconds. I'm searching this on Google right now. How do you pronounce this? What is a cairn? Pronunciation. Sorry, but I'm like... Cairn.
Cairn.
Cairn. I was correct. I thought I was butchering it for a second there. He slots it carefully into the cairn in a spot that could have been made specially for it. So what's a cairn? Rocks piled up. Yeah. That about does it? Huh? Out of the 172 prisoners who were rescued from the pit, 86 have died. Darius was one of them. I'm sorry, brother. My father's long nightmares finally come to an end. I know what you're thinking, Otto, but the scabbard's power wouldn't have been able to do anything for him or any of the others. It would have been like treating poison with more of the same poison. Besides, that power of life and death isn't something that should be used at all. But if I hadn't taken the thing out of there, then they would have simply persisted in that meaningless existence forever. We did the right thing, Otto. For once, I'm sure I made the right decision. Brother places his palm flat against a solidly built cairn. Those whom the word of light would not repatriate, the sun can shine down on these stones all at once. They won't wither away. For the rest of us, it's time to go home. Alright. I'm going to head over to the palace. None of the sisters would give me news of how Brandon is doing, so I'm just going to have to see for myself. As far as I know, she's been unconscious this whole time. I glance towards Echo, who simply shakes her head and shrugs. It is as Otto says. Well, maybe hearing the voice of her second most hated person will be enough to bring her around. If only so she can slug me a one in the face. Brother takes his leave of us with a wave of his hand, and I quickly lose sight of him in the mid-afternoon crowd. Only the tower remains, looming high over all the rooftops. It feels as though no matter what I do, I'm losing everyone I care about to that tower. You are. After parting company with Echo, I head back to the inn, where Switch is likewise nowhere to be seen. I'm completely alone now, go figure. I eat a meal I can't really taste, and taking Faber's sagacious, I don't know, advice, have a few drinks. I think sagacious. The narrow stairs swim beneath me as I retreat back up to my room. Oh? It seems I have some company after all. Oh god, somebody help this man. It's a mouse. A little white mouse sitting boldly on a small table beneath the mirror, nibbling on a crumb from a heel of bread that had been carelessly left there. For millers like myself, our first instinct when we see a mouse is to destroy it with extreme prejudice. So strong is this conditioned reflex that I've taken off my right boot and I'm holding it ready to throw before I catch myself. I'm a long way from the mill now. I have no quarrel with this rodent. I wasn't going to eat that bread anyway. I take the chance to look more closely at the little fellow. They might be pests, but they really are cute. I throw the boot. Miss the mouse by mile and instead strikes the mirror, shattering the pristine surface. The mouse, not wanting to push their luck, doesn't stick around. I wonder if I wasn't aiming for the mirror to begin with. I don't see the point of those things. Why would anyone want to examine their own reflection so clearly? Feeling listless, I fall down on the bed. Oh my god, my man Otto is losing his very soul. Listen, when we saw the mirror, he's changed, man. It's not him anymore. Something broke. I don't know what it is. Something inside him. I look up at the ceiling for a while and then turn my limp head to gaze out the window. The blue sky of noon has become dreary and overcast. Perfect. The hazy, indistinct light of the sun slowly falls behind the roof of the opposite buildings, forming a sharp black relief against the luminous gray clouds. As I stare, that black shape created by presence of physical matter becomes instead an absence, a void. There's nothing there, and the nothingness pulls me in. You better not blink, Otto. When you stare back at the abyss, it stares back at you. The difference between you is if you blink. I'm back here again. Back here again. I mustn't think like that. I haven't gone anywhere in the first place. I may be within the jaws of the trap, but the fact that I'm still here and still lucid means they haven't snapped shut just yet. There's still hope. Someone will come to rescue me. I just have to hang on until then. Someone will come. I'll be rescued, and I'll live my real life. A Brownwind. Oh god, Otto is different, man. That sword messed him up. On my way back to the palace after another research session at the university, I crossed paths with a party of adventurers I'd hired to investigate the pit and rescue its inhabitants. Looks like they're finishing up for the day as well. Switch, the party's leader, excuses herself from the company and comes over. Beneath her cheery manner and flagging professionalism, she still seems somewhat ill at ease around me. I can't account for apparent discomfort. Did I do something to offend her? Howdy, Brownman. Been hitting the books again? That's right. I think I have a pretty clear picture of things now. How about you? Made any new discoveries? On the contrary, I think by this point we've combed every inch of the place twice over. I'm sorry to hire you for such a boring job, Switch. It's only the idea of having missed someone down there is keeping me up at night. Hey, I'll do what I'm paid to do. I'll go down there another dozen times if you like. No, I trust your judgment. If you say the place is cleared out, then it must be. I'll see to having the entrance sealed off at the next opportunity. Gotcha. I'll start writing up a report for the guild then. Still, I'm filthy. May I avail myself of that wonderful bath? Please go ahead. I might join you after I've visited Brandy. Later then. With that, Switch heads off into the palace. The other adventurers, taking that as their cue, disperse and begin moseying their way out, bidding me farewell as they go. I watch them lead through the gate, envying their freedom and wondering what distant lands and perilous quests their vocation will take them to next. After they're all gone, I follow Switch inside. It's funny. She was Adventure's girl. Her sister was not. And yet, their lives took a turn for the, I guess, worse. Or different. The opposite. As I enter Brandy's chamber, Araby looks up from the seemingly constant vigil she keeps at her lady's bedside and gives me a weak greeting. The scene is the same as always. Brandy is laying supine in bed. The outline of her tall, lean body visible under the thin summer bedclothes, and her hit hard to merely pale countenance looking more and more like a sallow death mask as the days pass. Araby, entirely drained of the frantic but vivacious energy she put into serving her, is looking increasingly wasted herself. Despite daily care from the palace's most experienced healers, there seems to be nothing they can do to revive her from her comatose state. They're keeping her from expiring entirely, but they won't be able to keep it up forever. I recall the recent visit I made to the sanatorium, prepared for those interred in the pit. Despite the best efforts of the sisters and healers, roughly half of them had passed away. However, those that had survived were all by that point more or less conscious. Given this, Brandy remaining in his vegetative state is hard to explain. Am I completely mistaken in comparing the curse inflicted by the sword with the curse inflicted by the scabbard? Am I barking up the wrong tree altogether? Are you doing this on purpose? Eh? It seems as though I spoke aloud without intending to. Araby has a rather hurt expression. I'm sorry, Araby. Araby. I think it's Araby. Araby, I wasn't addressing you. I know that, but do you really think she's punishing us? What? No. Is that what you mean? Or is that what you meant? I did it again. Not really, I'm just tired. I'm just interpreting her silence how I please. What I was going to say was, maybe she's trying to escape. As in, escape from the consequences of her actions? Yes. I wasn't expecting such a cynical interpretation from you. You don't have a monopoly on cynicism, Brownwyn. I wasn't imagining it before. Despite how she appears, Araby really is as sharp as a tack. She's seen right through me. Arby's? Should I just call her Arby? Like Arby's, the restaurant, the food joint? Or maybe it's like Arabia. I think it is Arabia. Even though we've only known each other for a short while, I already consider you a true friend. I feel the same way. Given that, let me ask, the way you were when we first met, the way you were crying and panicking over everything, was that all some kind of act? I believe those were my true feelings. But the only person who could make my heart move like that is now in this state. If nothing changes, sooner or later she'll... Well, aren't you the one putting on an act? Yes, for a long time I think. You pretend to be everyone's caring big sister, but your real sister lying here. And you can't. I'm sorry, Brownwyn, I'm being horrible to you. It's okay, Araby. I'm actually rather happy that there's someone who sees me for who I am. For the past 10 years, I didn't know my sister was even still alive. And then when she does reappear, it is to kidnap me and stage this preposterous obfuscation instead of coming to me openly. If I've been acting, it's only because she's been acting as well. If she ever wakes up, maybe then we'll have the chance to repair our bond, but for now, my feelings as an older sister shall remain with Otto. Unlike me, that boy has an honest heart. That's funny, he said something similar about me. I turned towards the source of the voice that suddenly spoke up behind me. At the doorway is a young but strangely aged-looking man whom I last saw laid up in a sanatorium bed. Though he's standing up right now, he seems much slighter a figure than this dashing princely youth I remember from my childhood. Oswald! Araby regards the new visitor with a look of unconcealed hatred that doesn't surprise me. She's not comfortable around most men, let alone her lady's greatest betrayer. The fact that she hasn't immediately attacked him is quite commendable. Eavesdropping is a nasty habit. I apologize, you two ladies have been speaking quite loudly, however. The gracious smile falls from Oswald's face as his attention moves to Brandy's inert form. Don't come any closer. Yes, I understand. Arabi was obviously expecting more of a fight, as she seems quite taken aback. Regardless, she continues to stare down the now crestfallen-looking Oswald. I'm struggling to think of what I could say to either of them, and very much wishing I had the hole to disappear into when I hear someone else approaching. This is an often a lively gathering for the doorway of a sick person. Switch. You didn't come to join me. Brownwyn, I had to put up with this little goblin for company instead. Bite me, human. The appearance of Switch and Echo cuts through the sullen atmosphere like a sharp, tactless knife. I don't know if I want to laugh or cry. Brownwyn, you were saying earlier that you now had a pretty clear picture of things, right? Yes. After I swung by the guild, I'm gonna head back to the inn and eat some supper with Otto. Do you want to come along so you can fill us both in on what you found out? Yes. I'd love to go somewhere else and see Otto. Great. You got anything you need to take care of here? No, I was just on my way out. Howdy, Oswald. It's nice to see you up and about. You want to come too? Thank you for the kind offer, but I'm afraid I'll have to decline. I've troubled Otto enough for one day. You think so? That's too bad. Maybe next time. Yes. Oh my god. No, man. Don't if they go to the inn and see Otto. What happens if Otto is also in a comatose state? I can't see my boy like that. We've come too far from his humble origins to just end up dead. Oswald gives our assembled company a sad smile, casts one last fleeting look at Brandy, and then slinks slowly away down the corridor. His unshod feet seem to make no sound. Poor guy, wish there was something we could do for him. Shall we go then? Oh no, my boy. He's different. Hey Otto, you feeling okay? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I didn't mean to bore you. Sorry. I'm sitting at the table in our room. Switch is sad beside me. On the opposite side are Echo and a cutely pouting Brownwyn. This man feels like he has, like, schizophrenia or something. Or Alzheimer's. Slowly losing memory, man. Pouting Brownwyn. Spread between us is a small feast. A basket of fresh bread. A platters of meats and cheeses, a pot of chutney, and pitcher of wine. There's even some fresh fruit, apples, grapes, and those ones like small oranges called tangerines. On my plate is evidence that I've been eating and presumably interacting normally with the others up until this moment. But how did I get here? Shall I continue or shall we leave it for tomorrow? Brown is imposing the question sarcastically. I'm making everyone worry. No, please go on, Winnie. I'm listening, I promise. But as I was saying, the records in the palace prior to Dyer's reign was almost all lost, but I eventually found what I was looking for in the well-stocked library at the university. It seems as though the sword was forged from an orb with potent magical properties, found only within the veins of Dragon's Back, a mountain in northern Casper. You mean... I looked to Switch. The mountain from that story you told me. That's the one. It's a famous site, as you might imagine. Indeed, there's a monastery... workshop of swords on the slopes of the mountain, which is home to the only smiths who know how to handle this ore correctly. Correctly? They use the ore to make peerless magic blades for the Casperian nobility and soldiery. They're still making weapons, so perhaps correctly isn't the best choice of words. Safely, I should say. The specifics were too esoteric for me to understand, but essentially, if the ore is not processed in the right way, as it evidently wasn't by the smiths of this country when they got their hands on some, it can potentially produce a different kind of magic blade. This blade is possessed with great power but will exert what was described as a corrupting influence in the mind of its wielder, stoking their base instincts and desires and decaying their reason. Does that sound... Oh my god. It's corrupting Otto as well, but it's not the black sword, but the scabbard. So both of these objects are cursed. Then if that's the case, the scabbard was made afterwards to dampen this effect? That's what I surmise as well. A proper hack job, eh? That's one way of putting it. Nevertheless, the scabbard is an incredible contrivance in its own right. To the point that I wonder if the complete article doesn't yet exert an influence of its own. Behind her round glasses, Brownwyn's eyes flicked briefly towards the shattered mirror at the far end of the room. That was an accident. There was a mouse and... I trail off, Switch leans back in her chair and lets out a sound between a whistle and a sigh. It looks like my next mission is decided then. What? I don't like where this is going. Someone is going to have to take that sword to the arcane metallurgist in Casper so it can be safely destroyed. And there's no better someone for the job than me. You don't have to go. I can't stay here forever, Otto. I was going to have to return sooner or later in any case. It will just have to be sooner now. I've already settled my business with the guild so I could leave as early as tomorrow morning. It won't do to sit around my hands when there is something I can do to help. I don't need help. I bring my fist down to the table, making everyone start. Oh my god. I've been kind of reluctant to say anything, but you're kind of coming apart at the seams, Otto. The stink of the pit still clings to you. Winnie, I'm of the same opinion as Switch. You don't seem to be yourself of late. Thank God. What is this? I feel like I'm surrounded by strangers wearing the faces of the people I love. I have absolutely no intention of using it, you know? I'm just keeping an eye on it here because I don't know who I can trust. I'm not going crazy, and I don't need any help. Okay, Otto, I trust you. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest here. If I was there with them, I'd be like, put him in a straitjacket. We're going to Casper. We're destroying those two things. They're both cursed. I get the feeling she doesn't trust me at all. Nevertheless, we must still destroy the sword. Why? Because I strongly suspect it's more than just a powerful cursed weapon. It is the very instrument by which that entity you encountered down in the pit, the one Oswald calls Queen Beast. Oh, roll the credits. Steals into the hearts of men. What? You're the one acting crazy now. Brownwind sighs and removes her glasses to massage the bridge of her nose. When she speaks again, her voice is edged with the barest hint of irritation. I wouldn't be saying this if I only had baseless speculations to go by. Aside from my own research, however, I've had the exceptionally rare privilege of consulting with a former evil spirit on the matter. She smiles at Echo, who rubs the back of her head in embarrassment. Shucks, you're making me blush, Winnie. Nothing she's saying is crazy, although if you need an example, you saw firsthand the effect destroying my phylactery tree, or phylactery tree, phylactery, I think it's a physics. So yeah, it's a physical. Phylactery tree had on the rest of the forest? I don't know, man. Another word I can't pronounce. If this country have any hope of moving to the future, it has little need of such a dark relic. The country's future? I slowly stand up from the table, my eyes not straying from my empty plate. I don't have the slightest interest in this country's future. I've lived my whole life without being a part of it. Why does that have to change? Why does anything have to change? We can just go back to the valley and resume our real lives. Including me? You think I'd make a good farmer, eh? Oh, that is. Returning to the valley. That may not be possible for quite some time, Otto. This is your life now. That's what Brownwind is telling me. This is your life now. But tomorrow it might be something else again. A life without Switch, for example. This is moving into the future. This is the wheel that turns, not with the effort of one's own body, but with the fickle fancy of the wind. Don't tell me that's where it ends, man. I need more. After seeing off Brownwind and Echo, Switch returns to our room. For a while, she stands over while I'm sulking in bed with her hands on her hips. It's dark, but I can tell she's giving me a look. When I don't say anything in reply, she breaks away and walks over to the window. There's no moon tonight. I bet the stars outside of town are beautiful. Come on, let's go for a walk. You can use the fresh air and an exercise. I don't want to get up, but I don't want to be part from Switch either. Courtesy, I roll out of bed and onto my feet. My eyes are drawn to the wrapped sword in the corner. You won't need that. I've got the dagger hidden under my skirt for it if you run into trouble. Tomboy. I have never considered that to be a pejorative. Oh wow, beautiful. Switch and I leave town by the western gate and walk up the road that runs alongside the river. The road is unlit, but a staggering array of stars cast into the massive sky above us is bright enough to light the way. If we keep going this direction, we'll eventually reach the valley. We're still hung up on that idea, huh? We'll have to turn back long before that. Why do we have to turn back? There are still deeds that must be done, Otto. We fall into silence and remain that way until we come to the foot of a hill. Sitting beside the road, Switch moves from my side and begins walking up to the crest. I watch her go for a moment as if testing the notion for as long as I can bear it, then I follow after her. You know, I've yet to tell you my real name. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression before, but I don't want to hear it. I don't mean that. I just have the feeling that you're going to do more than simply tell me your name. You know, you're really gotten to understand me. I'm Maximus Aurelius Cornelius. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, clean out those ears. It's a pretty long name, so I'm only gonna say it once. Let's just get this over with. My real name is Cesarine Ruiz Cagliostro Casper. A princess. It really is long. It's too long. Everyone used to call me Rene. I'll stick with Switch. Well, I thought you'd say that. I don't dislike it. Anyway, there are people out there who will tell you that's the name of the rightful ruler of Casper. And until quite recently, I was one of those people. You gotta be kidding me. Sorry, Otto. I'd like to be able to say that more than anything, but it's the truth, and I haven't even gotten into the really ugly stuff yet. He has to go back. This is a nightmare. My mission with the guild was just a pretext for coming here. My personal objective was to investigate the political situation in this country and see how I could manipulate this land of ignorant barbarians and their savage warlord queen into moving as I please. She was a spy. Damn, I guess Brandy wasn't all that dumb after all. Perhaps instigate a little border conflict to destabilize things back home. You know, the usual intrigues deposed royalty like to occupy their time with. A war, you were... That's right, that's the kind of person I was before I met you, Otto. Switch was just a mask worn by a bitter little girl living trapped in the past. Well, maybe it still is. You said before that you can remember your parents' faces, didn't you? Yeah, but I remember mine. I remember their faces as they were executed by a hated rival branch of our family. I couldn't forget their face even if I wanted to. Switch. But after meeting you, all the ordinary people I was thinking about how to drag into the misery of war for my own personal revenge suddenly had faces of their own. Faces, names, thoughts, and feelings. And then I met the beast, and meeting her was like looking into a mirror. I saw exactly who I would have become if I hadn't met you. Aw, that's why I'm truly grateful to you, Otto. Being you, you may not feel you deserve it, but it can't be helped. If you've changed to that degree, why do you have to go back? If you no longer feel the desire to take revenge, why can't you just stay here and make a new life for yourself? There's nothing that would make me happier, but even if I do nothing, the peace that Casper has enjoyed for the last 8 years, the peace that was sealed with the blood of my kin is going to be broken. Do you remember Princess Opal? Her? She's part of this as well? Once the current king dies, which won't be long now, she'll be made queen. She's about the same age as you and I, but unlike us, she's a sheltered child who knows nothing of the world. The sharks that surround her will simply tear her to shreds and the land will be ruled by bloodshed again. I'm going back to do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen. If necessary, I'll join hands with that blood nemesis. I'll do what I must. I won't repeat the mistake the beast made. I'll return not as Sasserine of Casper, but as Switch, the adventurer. I'll wear this mask until it becomes my real face. Then let me come with you. We make a good team, don't we? Although you're not going to spend the rest of your life as my pack mule. I don't care if I'm a pack mule. I just want to be with you. I can allow that to happen. You have to be your own man. From now on, I'll carry my own burden, and you'll carry yours. What do you mean? She's far from ideal, but nevertheless, the beast is the closest thing this country has to ruler. Though you bear no sin, it is in part due to your decisions that she's currently in the brink of death. If she dies, the future of this country will be just as bloody as the one I foresee for Casper. You're the one who wanted to fight her. I'm not trying to apportion blame. On the contrary, Otto, I'm the one who has at least in thought committed many grave sins. However, the place where I must redeem myself is not here. You're agonizing over this whole business too much. It's not accurate to compare Casper's problems with Byron's. For all you know, this country might be better off without Brandy. If she dies, Winnie will probably take charge of things instead. It's not an ideal solution, but I'm sure she'll do a much better job. Otto, are you even listening to what you're saying? I give a start at the sudden iciness in Switch's voice. I meet her eyes, which seems to be filled with a golden flame. She's chewed me out before, but this must be the first time she's been genuinely angry with me. You intend to just leave it all to Brownman? You will foist upon her shoulders the grief of losing her sister and the weight of a whole country? What sort of brother would that make you exactly? Did you come here to rescue her or not? If those really are your feelings on this matter, then I've greatly misjudged you. It's not, I feel myself beginning to physically crumble under the weight of Switch's condemnation. I crouch down and bury my face in my knees. I guess I'm just a pathetic, needy person, and I feel like I'll become even more pathetic without you. That's simply not true. If you're really all that pathetic, if you were all that pathetic, I wouldn't have fallen in love with you in the first place. Geez, what a miserable expression. Hey boy, you're allowed to look honestly delighted when a cute girl tells you she loves you. Sorry. She lets out a long sigh and drops her arms to her side. I give up. It's impossible to stay mad at you for longer than a few minutes. I guess in that respect, you are pretty pathetic, in the sense that you inspire pathos, I mean. Come on, that was a joke. There's a rustle of grass as Switch approaches. When you stop squatting like that, you look like you're about to start sprouting mushrooms. Come and sit down over here. She nudges me with her foot in the direction of a log, forming an impromptu bench. I shift myself over to it and she sits herself down neatly beside me. We're still just staring at the ground. Tonight is a good opportunity, so take a proper look at the stars. I do as she says and lift my face. And when I do so, the countless stars crash over me. Oh my god, it's actually moving. Otto, back when we were thrown into the pit and died from the fall, did you happen to see an unusually vivid dream? I did. I dreamt I was a fish swimming up a river. But I became separated from my school and got caught by a human. Then I was cooked and eaten. I feel Switch's shoulders shake against mine and she laughs. That's so like you. But what about you then? I dreamt I was a bird flying in the sky. That sounds nice. It's just like you too. It wasn't nice at all. There was absolutely nothing else. Just me in the sky. Damn, that's insanity right there. Think about that. What if you were just in the void? Nothing. No light. Or maybe not in the void. Maybe in the white space. Just... It's like being flashbanged 24/7 for eternity. I flew and flew until my wings were burning with pain, but no matter how far I went, there was nowhere to land. In the end, I just had to give up and let myself fall, and that's when I woke up at the bottom of the pit. And later on, I must have lost consciousness after the beast stuck me with that sword, because that's when I saw the continuation of the dream. I hadn't landed at all. I was still falling. The strength to beat my wings even once was gone from me. I cannot say for how long it was so. But eventually I woke up, and you were there. I was talking about dreams made you sleepy. Hey, she's show. Yo, that's me. Maybe I haven't slept very well recently. I've noticed. I'll tell you what, Otto. If you don't want to say goodbye, just close your eyes. When you open them again, I'll be gone. What? That's not fair. I know. This is for the best. What are you doing here? I don't need your false future. I reject it. No matter what, I will continue to live in the real world because I have hope. Are you crying? Don't weep for what you've lost. It was never yours in the first place. You don't even exist. You're nothing but a figment of my imagination. My only salvation is the one who will crest that ridge and deliver me from this place. You probably won't be the girl from my dreams, and all likelihood it will be some hairy old man like the chief, but that's reality. Nobody came to rescue me. You're a big guy. Stop acting childish. Rather than simply disappear, you would now deny the foundation of your fictitious existence? Why? It only came back to me when I was talking with Switch just now. I was lying at the bottom of this ravine waiting for someone to come just like you are. I must have waited the whole night because eventually the morning came. The sky was ablaze with light, but the place where I was lying was thrown into the deep, cold shadow. I felt then an unbearable yearning to leave the shadow and stand within that light. Looking back on it now, I think that yearning feeling was my instincts telling me if you simply wait for the sun to cross that ridge, it will shine down only on your corpse. Someone will come? Yes. In this place, that hope exists. It will always exist. I reach down and pull off my boot and roll up the cuff of my trousers, exposing my twisted limb. This is my right leg. It's not much to look at, and it's not even worse to walk on, but it's mine. I'll have this crooked leg for the rest of my life because eventually I climbed out of that ravine and hiked all the way home on a broken bone. That's impossible. I didn't want to die. It might be hard for you to believe, but that's what happened. This right leg is real. The tears I was shedding just now and the pain I feel in my chest because Switch was leaving, those are real too. You're the one living in a fantasy. An endless night where the sun will never rise and you can wait and indolently wallow in the hope that someone will come for all eternity. Disappear, phantom? Psychopomp? When I was lying where you are now, I didn't know that word. I didn't know anything. I was nothing but an illiterate brat. I honestly can't remember how I even managed to string two thoughts together. It's only when I was able to accept Winnie as family and she brought the light of knowledge into my life that I came to learn fancy words like that. Tell me, how did you learn it? Queen Bees. Oh, I said the title. Roll the credits, everybody. It's almost a relief. For a while there, I was worried really was talking to myself. I was worried as well. I was like, damn, is Otto going insane here? Oh god, here we go again. Round 2, Electric Boogaloo. Fly me to the moon. Oh god, it's Evangelion all over again. Where are we? Stretching out before my eyes is a plain of white earth below a sky of churning black clouds. Despite this apparently violent atmospheric phenomena, the air is perfectly still. I can't hear anything either. Feeling experimental, I bend down and pick up a handful of the white earth. The consistency is fine, even finer than sand. The closest comparison I could make would be the flour from the mill. These particles of fine earth are sticking together in big clumps that give the plain a craggy, rocky appearance. But there's no doubt that these soft rocks will quickly break apart underfoot. That will make walking on them difficult. As I think this, I wonder where I'm supposed to be walking to. I look all around me. There's nothing here to speak of. Am I supposed to be doing anything? I may simply have been slain by Queen Beast and arrive in the land of the dead. Well, since I can still think and feel, I might as well carry on as normal for now. With nothing better to go on, I simply begin walking in the direction I'm already facing. The mill? Not just a mill, the mill. What is it doing here? Maybe this stuff under my feet really is flour. It's his world. What a bloody world. I take another sample and touch it gingerly against my tongue. Blah! Blah blah! It's not flour. Who goes there? A familiar figure in black clothes suddenly appears atop the ridge directly below the mill. You? Ought to be like, great, we're stuck here, aren't we? Brandy slides down the slope to my level, strides over, and roughly grabs me by the collar. Seems as though she's looking to resume our previous interaction from where it adjourned. What are you doing here, peasant boy? I'd like to know that myself. Why are you peasants always so bloody irresolute? It's like you don't have fully formed brains. Let's try something else. How did you get here? I was talking to myself. Only not really, because it was actually Queen Beast communicating through my memories. I think I must have upset her because she ate me or absorbed me into her or something. I thought I might have died, but seeing you here makes me think otherwise. Me? I was under the impression that I was dead. Nope, you're hanging in there. Switch is doing fine too, in case you were worried about that. Switch is that foreigner. I wasn't worried. It's the scorches to enter the duel without the resolve to slay one's opponent. But who is Queen Beast if not myself? Well, I'm not totally sure about that. You're seriously trying to my patience, boy. Well. She's some kind of powerful evil spirit, and that sword you've been carrying around is something like her phylactery. Okay, that's a start. What else? Oh, she might be the restless ghost of an extraterrestrial dragon from the Age of Myth. Oh, sorry. What? It's just something I heard. Don't get mad at me. Seemingly satisfied, or at least totally convinced of my stupidity, Brandy sighs and releases my collar. She turns and paces away from me, then stands still with her arms folded. So we are within Queen Bee's, huh? But why is there a windmill here? What does it mean? Oh, that's the mill from back home in the valley. You must have seen it when you kidnapped Winnie. I don't know. One windmill is much the same as any other. I did find something interesting inside, though. Interesting? Yes, come and look at this. Brandy hikes back up the slope from whence she came, and I scramble clumsily along after her. On the flat ground at the foot of the mill is the old set of table and chairs that used to be kept inside. Did she carry them out here? Sitting on top of that table is... Look, it's someone's homemade chessboard. Isn't it just adorable? He must be the epitome of wabi-sabi. Thanks, I think. It's my board. I'm the one who made it. You? Yeah, I carved my name on the underside. But I'm not going to upset the board just to check. I'll take your word for it. What is your name anyway? On a second thought, it's really not important. You like chess? I'm pretty keen on it. Yeah, Winnie taught me how to play. Brioni did, huh? Did you ever manage to win against her? No, I mostly played against other millers, hence the board being inside the mill. We would mull over our next move as we turned the stone. My, how delightfully rustic. Could be a painting. That could be a painting when I think about it. Oh, family dog. This patronizing tone, it reminds me when I first met Switch. Are all nobles like this? I've never won against Brioni either. I've never been better than her at anything. Is that why you kidnapped her? Maybe it was. But once again, I couldn't win. Well, sit down, huh? Are you slow in the head? We're going to play a game. If my sister is a wall I can't ever scale, I can at least vent some of my frustration by thrashing her little protege. We need to think of a way to get out of here, though. Get out of here and go back to that painful, tedious reality? You don't want to? I wonder. Maybe. Oh, just sit down for now. I'll give you something nice if you win. I don't need something nice. Just give me your word that you'll cooperate. Sure, whatever. Naturally, I'll be the black player. Of course. So, you healed everyone's wounds with the power of the scabbard, huh? It's just as well as you did. Wounds inflicted by that blade will bleed without end, and even the slightest scratch will ultimately prove fatal. Oh, so it has a bleeding effect on it. Like 100% bleeding effect. You keep bleeding until you perish. I guess I'm gonna end this video. Should I? No, I'll continue a little bit more. And you've been carrying around something like that without a scabbard. In hindsight, it's obvious that you're the younger brother Ozzy told me about. I don't know how I didn't make the connection before. Well, it's a trivial detail, I guess. Again, she... That's the move you're going for, is it? If you think it was a bad play, just say so. Huh, I'm not so lenient, boy. I'll crush you with every ounce of my ability. Like so. Look, your freedom is slowly being stripped away. Bit by bit, I'll corner you. She's going a little bit crazy here, not gonna lie. There's drool, you're drooling. Stop gawking at me and make your move already. Right. Seeing you drooling like that reminds me though, that peddler I met in the city market was you, wasn't it? Yup, that's my alter ego. Hey, you're that kid from back then. You only just realize. Your face just isn't very memorable. It's like looking at a potato or something. What? It was pretty sane when she was just selling random ornaments. Interesting. Here. So what were you doing out there in the streets? Oh, you know, entertainment, intelligence gathering. I remember thinking those kings who would go incognito among their subjects were pretty cool, so I wanted to try it out myself. Your own face isn't so widely known. You could probably have dispensed with the disguise. Where's the fun in that? More than anything else, it's a relief to become someone else for a day. I'm jealous of that adventurer girl, you know? She can go and do whatever she wants under that vague pretext of adventure. That's one comment I can't let slide, Brandy. We're on a first-name basis now, are we? You don't even know my name. Switch has a far greater sense of her responsibilities than you might think. Certainly more than I do. From my perspective, you're the one who's just doing as you please. Well, you know that girl better than I do. I'll apologize for my careless remark. Anyway, that was a good move just now. Maybe there are some fangs to that hand dog mouth of yours. Wait, what? Hang dog. Maybe you're the type of person who becomes stronger when they're fighting for someone else's sake. Maybe this won't be such a boring game after all. Is this the end? For eternity playing with this villain? Okay, I guess I'm gonna end this video right here. We're 54 minutes in. Hopefully you subscribe, like, comment. You watch this video up to the end or some other video that I have in my channel or whatever you want, really. Hopefully you're doing okay right now. Or maybe you're alright. You're doing bad, real bad right now. Give it time. It's hard. Hella hard. Impossible to think. It's easy to say, just give it time. I know. It is what it is. Okay, see ya. I'll be seeing you in the next episode of Queen Bees. Bye.